Martin Luther King Jr. once said that life's most urgent question is, what are you doing for others? Hi, my name is Quinn Miller, and today I'm going to tell you about the lack of volunteering in our current society, the benefits it has both to the volunteer and to the community, and finally, how you can help by volunteering and becoming an impact in your own community. Volunteering is the act of working and performing labor of some sort, not for the benefit of financial compensation, but rather to become a part of something bigger than yourself. Having volunteered myself for the last couple of years, I can tell you that the benefits both to the community and to yourself far outweigh the costs of having to work without pay. And this is why I believe that everyone should take time out of their week in order to volunteer for a local community. Currently in the US, there simply aren't enough people volunteering these days. The volunteer rate is already incredibly low right now, and on top of that, it is also shrinking each year. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the volunteer rate in America has dropped from 26.8% in 2011 to 24.9% in 2015. That means that there are 6 million less people volunteering over the course of those 5 years, and that goes to over 1.2 million less people volunteering each year. Some groups, such as adoption agencies and veterinarians, depend on volunteers in order to properly run in the economy. Claire Palmer's article, Response to Vulnerability, Dependence, and Special Obligations to Animals, says that we can only voluntarily consent to accept special obligations to assist or care for others. So it is only through steady volunteers that some of these groups are able to operate in the economy, which is a very difficult task with the volunteer rate as low as it is. While it may seem next to impossible to raise the volunteer rate from its current position, there is actually something that we can all do. While it might sound too easy, the best way to raise the volunteer rate is to volunteer. The majority of people who don't volunteer on a regular basis don't do so because they feel they don't have enough time or something. People don't realize that even taking just a small amount of time each week to volunteer does a lot to help out the community. If you just take a few hours each week to volunteer at a local church or a soup kitchen, you're already making a huge difference. Laura Blue's article, Too Busy to Help, says that if you're anxious about taking time away from your family members, consider taking them with you. The more helping hands you bring, the more work you'll get done with each precious hour. A great way to get others to volunteer is simply to ask them. According to Differences in Perceived Barriers to Volunteering by Sundin Raskoff and Garcia, the Independent Sector Survey on Volunteering and Giving during 2000 found that 71% of those who were asked to volunteer did volunteer, while only 25% of people who were not asked did volunteer. This goes to show how many people are willing to volunteer if they are handed the opportunity or shown that they can make a difference and anything that they do will help out in the cause. Imagine if more people decided to take just a little bit of time out of your week, out of their busy schedule in order to volunteer, and how much good that would do to a community. An article by the InScale group found that an article by the InScale study group titled Valuing the Work of Unpaid Community Health Workers and Exploring the Incentives to Volunteering in Rural Africa describes a program of volunteer community health workers in rural Africa. These unpaid workers are an integral part of the healthcare scene in these areas of Africa, and how some of these citizens, the only way that they get access to good healthcare is through these volunteers. Volunteering also has physical health benefits to the volunteer themselves. Angela Hout's article, Volunteering Does a Body Good, said that in a recent survey, 65% said they feel better physically since they started volunteering. So volunteering has benefits to physical and mental health and can help with people suffering from depression or stress or things likewise. Overall, volunteering appears to be more and more necessary each year, but less and less people are volunteering. This is largely due to the fact that people don't realize how easy it is and how good the benefits are to the economy. I want everyone to find a way, all of you in the audience, to find a way in which you can volunteer in your everyday lives. And if this sounds hard, you can do it easily with these 3 steps. First of all, find a group in which you can find a group that could use your volunteering work. This could be a local church, a soup kitchen, or even a volunteer fire department or something likewise. Find some group that could use the benefit of unpaid workers to carry on their work. 2 is find one day each week in which you can arrange time in order to volunteer. So find a day in which you're off from church or school or work or anything like that, and spend a few hours volunteering. You might need to sacrifice something, maybe spend like a little bit less time playing video games or something in order to volunteer, but just arrange time in your schedule to volunteer. And finally, don't make excuses. Get out the door and start volunteering. Don't let yourself convince yourself to not volunteer by thinking that you can't make enough difference or what you do won't help out, because even just a little bit of work can really help out the community. And just know that when you are volunteering, you're working for something that is greater than yourself, and that is a good thing you're doing. Thank you.
Yay! Good job.